Hello and welcome to the final whistle with me, Daniel Waterson, looking back at Saturday's 2-0 win over Partick Thistle at Easter Road. Coming up in this episode, James and myself discuss the match. We have post-match reaction from Gary Parker and Scott Allan, but first, let's remind ourselves of the action with Hibs TV's Cliff Pike, Keith Reid and Danny Galbraith.
Bell then managed to get a touch on it. We'll take it. Boyle, can he get there? He does. Plays Ennis in the back of the net. Hibs have the opener. After Thistle have a goal controversially ruled out, Hibs take the lead. Was it Jamie McLaren,
Yes,
Keith?
it was Jamie McLaren. Great ball there. Pulled back by Martin Boyle. Looked like he wasn't going to get it there. He flicked it back and it was Jamie McLaren pouncing to give Hibs the lead. Hibs 1, Partick Thistle 0.
Well, I'm not going to say it's a deserved lead, but it doesn't matter how you get it as long as you get it. And Jamie McLaren once again showing that you get the ball to him in the right place, the right time, he'll stick it in the back of the net. Thistle will feel aggrieved at that one that was ruled out just seconds earlier. Right footed again. Edge of the 6-yard box. Ambrose climbs. It's in the net. It looks like Paul Hanlon that got the head on it. Looked the header up over Ryan Scully. And after 75 minutes, it's now Hibs 2, Partick Thistle 0. And what a difference 5 minutes can make, Danny.
What a difference a goal makes, right away. The indecision then going through the Partick Thistle team probably needlessly give away a corner, and good chip ball in and a great header by Paul Hanlon, just out of reach of Scully and the Partick goals. And he's played really well today, driving out with the ball from the back, and great goal.
James, sometimes the most important thing is just to come away with a win. And I think given the results elsewhere today, the most important thing is that Hibs have won today. It doesn't matter how we've done it, but it's a 2-0 win over Partick Thistle.
Yeah, sometimes you win pretty, sometimes you have to win ugly. That was about as ugly as I've seen this season. It was not great. It was perhaps slightly lucky as well, given events in the second half, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But yeah, I mean, so, like you say, given the results elsewhere, important that we came away with 3 points today. We ground it out, we did, so every reason to be chuffed in it.
I think we said at half time on Hibs TV that, with the exception of Putaudry in December, probably as poor a first half as we'd seen. But again, it's something different for this Hibs team. We keep seeing it. We keep saying it this season. 2 or 3 years ago, Hibs would have either lost or this would have finished 0-0 today. So I suppose it says a lot about the kind of the spirit and the fight and determination in this side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a game like that, a couple of years ago we would have crumbled. We just wouldn't have been able to break Partick down. It would have been another frustrating, 2 points dropped. But we kept going. We kept sort of plugging away. We knew that we were eventually going to get chances. It was just about taking them, and when the two that do come, they're both chances that we have to take, and we do. 2 relatively good goals as well. So yeah, I mean, we had sort of after that, I think Partick kind of fell apart a bit, and we had a couple of other chances which maybe should have gone in. And I think there was a flag goes up to deny Ollie Shaw when he gets played through it right at the end, and there's a couple of decent half chances. But yeah, I mean, you can't really complain when you get 3 points like that. It was pretty routine in the end, if it was a little bit of a turgid build up to that.
Yeah, so I mean, take it right back. 2 changes for Hibs, both forced upon us. Marciano and McGinn are suspended. Cammy Bell and Dylan McGee come in. No surprises there. Also nice to see Slivka back on the bench, albeit he didn't play today. And now my mind immediately goes to something that went viral from Doncaster Rovers when they posted highlights of a game on YouTube where they do the whistle goes to start the game and then the highlights end. We could pretty much do that for the first half, I think.
It was. Really, in the sort of post Terry Butcher era, remember a first half being quite as bad as that, or not even being sort of quite as bad, but quite as dull. I mean, nothing happened. It was just. I think we actually sort of said it after about 25 minutes. Quite literally, nothing had happened. I'm really struggling to remember anything of significance. I mean, to sort of sum it up, the big thing that elicited the biggest reaction in that first half was a ball bounced in front of Effie Ambrose, which he very calmly and coolly thumped up about 70 yards up the pitch, but it went about the height of the stand, and that seemed to sort of wake people up into some kind of stream of consciousness.
Yeah,
it really was not good.
It was poor for it, and especially the fact that it's not as if Thistle flew out the traps, were fighting for the legs. Thistle were. It was like a contest, and Thistle making a mistake. Okay, we'll misplace this pass and put it out for a throw in, and Hibs would just retort by doing the exact same thing. I'm looking at their goals for column this season. They're the lowest goal scorers in the league with 26 goals. That's very evident as to see why.
Yeah, I think you could tell. I mean, they didn't really offer. I mean, it would be fine sort of saying, it was a poor first half if we were being hemmed in, and if Thistle had us really under the cosh, but attackingly they really did not offer anything going forward. And I mean, for all kind of people will kind of joke about Connor Salmon's time at Hearts, he was pretty prolific when he was at Kilmarnock, and same with Miles Story when he was at Inverness. There were two decent enough strikers in this league on their day, but today they offered very little. I think Salmon gets a good, decent enough chance in the second half, which Canny Bell makes a really good save from, but you never really, even though Hibs were not playing particularly well, you never really feared for us, the other end of the pitch. It didn't look like we were going to lose a goal at any point.
Yeah, I think, like you've said, Story and Salmon, all they really have to offer is kind of height, and when you're up against the back three of Ambrose, McGregor and Hanlon, you're not going to get much change from them. What kind of summed it up in the opening 90 seconds maybe, I think Miles Story had an opportunity to burst through on goal 1-on-1, and he's barely moved 5 yards by the time Ambrose has caught up on him. That's it up until the 25th minute when something happens, thankfully. Scott Allan puts in a free kick. We've kind of got different opinions in this. I think it's a great chance for Ambrose. You think it's a half chance. To me, Effie's got so much space and time that either end of Czerny it's a goal, but I think you think that he's done well just to get something onto it.
I think, he does, he's kind of stretching for it, and it feels a bit ridiculous to say this given that he scored from a cross from a similar enough area against St Johnstone a couple of weeks ago, but I think if that falls to a Flo Canberra or Jamie McLaren and they have that finish, you're probably a bit disappointed. But Effie Ambrose is a centre half, right back, hero, whatever you want to call him. He doesn't really get much on it, but I think it's not an easy chance to take for him. I mean, again, like you say, if he does get sort of anything on it and puts either side of Czerny, it's probably in. But yeah, a half chance rather than a chance wasted for me. Yeah,
and then not long after that, Dylan McGeoch has a good effort. It's very, very well saved from Czerny, but what to me summed up that first half in a nutshell is that McGeoch's chance comes from Canberra's looking for Scott Allan, and it's a routine 3-4 yard pass. Totally misses Scott Allan, and it just falls perfectly for McGeoch. Good effort, even better save, and unfortunate for Czerny that he goes off injured after that, but you were hoping that would spark a bit of life into the side at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good hit. I mean, Dylan McGeoch, he gets a couple of goals, but he's not famed for his goal scoring ability. That was actually a really good effort. It was a brilliant save from Thomas Czerny. Disappointing to see him go off. Obviously, former Hibs goalkeeper. Didn't see a lot of action on the pitch, but he's still he was here. He got a decent enough round of applause when he came off the pitch from both sets of fans. But yeah, it's a really good stop. I mean, it's going right in the top corner, and he gets up and pushes it away. But I think you were kind of expecting us to kick on after that. I think that was about 10-15 minutes before.
It was about just not long before half time.
Didn't really happen though.
No, that's it. That's the first half done and dusted. More reaction with James shortly, but let's hear the post-match thoughts of Gary Parker speaking with Cliff.
Gary, probably fair to say we weren't at our best today, but sometimes it's just about getting the 3 points.
That was probably the worst 45 minutes I've witnessed since I've been here. We had nothing. It was 35 minutes before we had a shot. Dylan had a shot and the keeper saved it. I think the break hasn't helped us. The international break. We're a team that like to keep going, the momentum and that. But at the end of the day, we got the 3 points, and that's all that mattered.
Second half, we took the game to Partick Thistle. It looked like there'd been a few words exchanged at half time. I suspect there probably were.
Well, no, not really. I think the players knew themselves anyway, and we knew we couldn't play any worse going out there in the second half. We just said win the 50-50s, have a go, move the ball quicker. And second half was a big improvement. We're still not pleased with the performance itself, but as I said, the 3 points, that's all we needed.
I think what was evident in the second half was we got Martin Boyle involved in the game a lot more, and when he's involved, he causes defences problems.
Well, with that pace that he's got, he hurts people, doesn't he? I mean, Effie's played him the ball down the wing, and I think he's the only person in the league that would have caught that ball. And it's a good ball across and a good finish. But yeah, if you can get him involved more with his pace, he causes problems. And
such is football that Partick Thistle thought they'd taken the lead, but it was disallowed for offside. It maybe just affected their concentration for a few seconds, and we capitalised on it.
Well, I don't know if it was offside or not. I just looked up when the ball went in the net, and I could see out the corner of my eye the linesman's got his flag up. Yeah, we go up the other end and score a goal, but that's happened. You can't switch off. You know, decisions go against you. You still got to be professional and carry on.
1-0 though. The game's never safe, but a good finish from Paul Hanlon. It was a clever header. He looped it up over the goalkeeper.
Well, it's funny because we did set pieces yesterday, and I said to Paul, do you know what, I think you'll score today. So it was a good ball in, and we worked on it in training on Friday, and he's looped over the header. It's a good header, and it's a good goal. Obviously, you needed that second goal, and it gives you a little bit of leeway.
And the important thing for us was taking the 3 points. As we said, with Aberdeen and Kilmarnock winning and Rangers dropping points, you know, that race for second spot at the moment is wide open.
Well, it's like we said, we had a meeting at the start of the season. Where do we think we could finish? And they all said top 6. So we're in 4th now. It's a lot of football to play, and we want to climb as high as possibly can. As you said, if we win that game in hand, we're a point behind Rangers. Aberdeen, they've got to go the way to Motherwell, and Hearts before the split. So it's wide open.
And a big one for us though on Tuesday night against Hamilton Accies, a team that, you know, have proved a problem for us in the past.
Well, they beat us earlier on the season, didn't they? 3-1, and we were poor again that day, and they fully deserved it. Then we went to their place, we drew 1 each. I think they had 1 shot and scored a goal. But Tuesday night's massive for us. Either these next 2 games before the split, we need to win both. We need 3 points on Tuesday, no matter what. So whether it's a game like that again, as long as we get over the line with the 3 points, I don't care.
So the second half begins. The crowd are right behind the team. It's a positive atmosphere still. And in the opening couple of minutes, Martin Boyle, who's been very quiet up until that point, puts a great run along the wing, puts in a really dangerous cross, and there's no takers. And yet again, you're thinking, okay, now we can kick on from here, but it's still just trudged along.
It took a while to happen. That one that went right across it was reminiscent a couple of months ago when we were clamouring for somebody to be in the box. That one just goes straight across goal. There's nobody there to take it. But another one where I think Ambrose puts in a cross, and it's the towering figure of Lewis Stevenson that it's aimed towards, and you're thinking, God, I mean, it's just not going to happen for us today. But you could kind of see, I think with that Boyle one, the signs were there that were maybe waking up a little bit. And obviously that's an avenue that we do explore quite well later on in the second half, is using Martin Boyle's pace to get in behind the fullback, who I don't know the name of off the top of my head.
Christy Elliott, getting booked,
But yeah, I mean, that was kind of, at the time it didn't seem like a lot, but sort of looking back now, it's maybe one of those that's, well, that might have been the trigger for us taking on a little bit.
But it wasn't really. It just just kind of.
Well, it didn't sort of happen immediately, but there was maybe sort of 10-15 minutes after that where again nothing happened.
I think the next chance after that, or just before the hour mark, the first piece of Scott Allan magic finally pays off. He plays in a great through ball to McLaren. His shot is deflected and it's kind of trudging towards the goal line. It's comfortably picked up from, I think it's Adam Barton, picks up the ball and just clears it. But that was kind of maybe you're right in what you're saying, that there was a belief kicking in at that point where he was starting to realise that this is not a very good Thistle team, and we're getting dragged to their level almost. And a great ball from Allan, and McLaren's unlucky. Yeah,
it's actually a really good block. I think it's Cargill who actually who goes into the tackle and blocks it. Great ball by Scott Allan, which he really loves, that sort of wee reverse pass. Some sort of a few other times in the second half with sort of varying degrees of success. And I mean, good hit by McLaren, good block by Cargill. And it was that kind of moment where time seemed to stand still and the ball sort of trickling towards goal. I think from our angle it probably looked a little bit closer than it might actually have been. But Partick get back and clear, and again you're sort of wondering, is it going to happen for us today?
Aye, and it's, I think, not long after that we make our first change. Stephen Whittaker comes on for Marvin Bartley in the midfield. I know Whittaker played in midfield for the development game. Do you think that's kind of a change of direction for Stephen Whittaker, that they're going to marshal him into kind of sitting midfielder role for the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think it could be an interesting one. I mean, given, Whittaker is 33, 34,
he's
33.
Signed a 3-year contract, so 2 years after this to go.
And the competition at right back at the moment is Effie Ambrose and a fit David Gray. You kind of balancing those two factors. You think, well, is Whittaker our best option at right back anymore? Can he be reappropriated anywhere else on the pitch? Probably defensive mid might be the best position for that. You could maybe see him slotting into centre half if we were really desperate, but I thought he did well enough when he came on. He was almost playing exactly the same role at Marvin Bartley, where he was sort of breaking up play and redistributing the ball, and he did okay. I think at the time it seemed like a bit of a more bizarre substitution than it actually was, but he did okay in sort of the brief cameo that he has in centre midfield. It'd be interesting to see 2-3 weeks down the line if we need to see out a game if we go down that route again. And I imagine sort of playing Whittaker and Bartley together might be a bit negative, but
I would have thought maybe for the likes of there's Hamilton coming up on Tuesday, we've maybe learned today. It was almost today as if Marvin Bartley wasn't playing the Marvin Bartley role in the absence of John McGinn. First half especially, there was huge gaps in the midfield at times, and that's obviously because Bartley's playing as maybe that little bit more creative, playing that little bit further forward. So Tuesday could be a match that would suit Whittaker if he's fit to start, to he's capable of sitting deep, but we also know that he can add goals to his game, as we've seen against Thistle in the opening day this season and in his first spell at Hibs. Yeah,
and I think it was like you said when we were talking during the first half, in theory you don't need Marvin Bartley playing the Marvin Bartley role at home against Partick Thistle. With the greatest respect to Thistle, it's a game that we should be expecting to go out and win, and put on a fairly attacking display. But it's one of those. It maybe doesn't suit Bartley to be sort of charging forward, or playing that more sort of creative role that he did today. It might suit Whittaker more. I'd say Whittaker's probably a little bit better on the ball. I think it'd be an interesting experiment against Hamilton, but again, it's a Hamilton team that's fighting for their lives down at the bottom of the table, so there are going to be no pushovers. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if you maybe give him like another half an hour or something in the second half and see how he does.
We've had one warning already at the back in the second half. It was Connor Salmon produces Cammy Bell makes a great save from Connor Salmon after Ambrose is caught out a little bit on the wing. So that should have been the little wake up call at the back. This will get the corner. Cargill headers it. Cammy Bell does very well to save it. The only thing I can think is, to me, the ball, this is without seeing it back, to me the ball looks like it's going in anyway despite Bell's stop.
Yeah.
Somebody must be offside when Cargill headers it and has tapped it in an offside position, because otherwise I'm struggling to see why that goal was disallowed.
Yeah, I mean, Bell does make a good save, but it's almost like there's a bit of backspin on the ball, and it's spinning towards goal, and I think it's Devine who ends up getting the final touch, although there's a couple of Partick players in there, so you kind of wonder, if it's Devine and not whoever else was going in for it that gets the touch, is that offside? But if it's whoever else is going in for it and gets the touch, that might well be offside. It'd be interesting to see it back, like you say, but yeah, there was a real sort of heart and mouth moment where you thought, oh, typical, isn't it? It's like, not a great performance, started to go out the game a little bit more and then there was a goal.
Yeah.
But looking at it at the moment, I mean, from just from sitting here and from only seeing it once, it seemed very harsh to disallow that, to be honest. You feel a bit sorry for Partick in the way that things end up about 60 seconds later.
That's it. It's from that free kick. Ambrose has the ball. He overhits the pass, but Martin Boyle is that fast that he catches up the ball. He has no time to think about it. He just hooks it right across goal. It's a great cross, similar to the one at the start of the second half, and Jamie McLaren does what Jamie McLaren was brought in to do. It's that poacher's finish.
Yeah, playing between the posts, really good finish. Hopefully the Australian national team are watching him tap that one in. Hopefully the Australian national team are watching Martin Boyle race onto the ball as well. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I suppose with a guy like Boyle's pace, a pass is never really overhit because he's always got that ability to actually get there. And it almost looked like it was one of the Partick defenders stood off him a little bit because they did not expect him to get onto the end of that pass. But yeah, it's a horrible moment for Thistle. I mean, I think Hibs fans can empathise because we've been there, but
that's it. It's great. We're 1-0 up. It's brilliant and it's deserved at this point. But the 2010 2010 to 2014 Hibs fan in me
halcyon
really
period,
really feels for Thistle at that point.
Because I'm sure there's plenty of Thistle fans there today who have the exact same feeling and you've got to be kidding me. It's just insane.
Aye, maybe it's the Ouija in me as much as it is a Hibs fan that feels that little bit of sympathy. That can't be helped, can it? I'll apologise in the train home. So a few minutes after that, I think it's from a corner. Hibs win another corner. There's a little bit of ping pong. Effie Ambrose does well to marshal it out. The first half, Thistle at no stage looked convincing with cross balls. There was a few kind of ping pong moments in the first half from set pieces. Ambrose has a chance from set piece, and it's just dead straightforward. Allan's corner, great looping header from Paul Hanlon. 2-0, game over.
Looping up over Ryan Scully, who I thought actually did okay when he came on. He came and collected a couple of decent crosses and made a few, half decent enough saves.
He had one great save.
Yeah,
was that the Shaw offside one?
Shaw, it was offside anyway, but it was still a really good save. Regardless of it being off or not, but kind of loops up over Ryan Scully, and again, you're kind of looking at it going, well, if we're going to get one, we're probably going to get two anyway. At that point, it's just about sort of seeing the game out. I think we've got 12-13 minutes left, and we do it sort of no bother in the end. But good header by Paul Hanlon. His first goal for quite a while.
Season.
Ross County away.
Yes.
That was like October or something.
Yeah.
Decent enough for him to get on the score sheet, and really good header. Great ball by Scott Allan as well, and at that point we're cruising. Yep,
and we see it out comfortably enough. Thistle at that point are just, as you would expect, they're just utterly sapped of confidence and fight. Danny Devine loses the head. There can be no complaints over that second yellow card.
It's a classic sort of
Nice to see Andrew Dallas give the second yellow card this time.
It's total sort of rush of blood to the head. I think he sort of lost out to Canberra the first time, goes back for a second bite of the cherry. It's not a great tackle. It's not a bad tackle, but it's completely wild, and he doesn't really get anywhere near the ball. No choice but to send him off. I think he was already walking, to be honest, by the time he actually does.
He knows.
Andrew Dallas comes over, and it was just completing the misery for Partick again. It was that kind of moment where you felt a little bit sorry for them, but.
And now let's hear from Scott Allan speaking after the match.
Scott, a bit of a battle today against a team fighting for their lives at the bottom of the table. Sometimes it's not how you get the 3 points, it's just about getting the 3 points.
I think obviously seeing the score earlier in the day, it was a massive emphasis on us going and getting the 3 points, and we had to wait a while. You get the first goal, but we kept going. They stuck to their shape and made it difficult for us at times, but clean sheeting and 2 goals after a wee layoff there. We're at the national break, can't complain.
How do the boys feel about all these breaks? It seems to have been kind of stop-start most of this season. Like you get a game, then a couple of weeks off, then another game, another week off. It's a bit disappointing.
It's just hard to get a real run of momentum going. But in saying that, we've seen really positive results, especially since I came. To be fair, we've played, and then it's been 2 weeks off, and then the game's called off with the snow and what have you. But I said we just need to keep getting the points on the board and looking up the table.
It was hard going there in that first half. We didn't really seem to get much fluency at all. Thistle didn't give us much time on the ball at all.
No, as I says, they stuck to their shape. It looked as if they kind of went man for man all over the pitch. They had a few chances themselves, but said we stayed in the game, and as I said, we were patient, and we got a goal, and it was a great goal. That
sometimes you've got to take breaks when they come along. Thistle, I think, thought they had gone 1-0 up. It was disallowed, and we went straight up the other end and scored.
Yeah, well, I think that shows the sign of the kind of players we've got in the changing room. Even when it's maybe not so fluid, we're still digging out results. And I think that's the last two, the St Johnstone game, where we go down to 10 men and we fought, and it turns out to be a good point. So I think we're showing signs of a real good character.
With Aberdeen and Kilmarnock both winning today and Rangers dropping points, it's really opened up that fight for second spot in the table.
Yeah, well, we know it's a massive week for us. Hamilton back here on Tuesday, and then Ross County, so we'll be aiming for 6 points from the 2 games.
Hamilton's a tough one. We've not taken much from them this season. They beat us comprehensively here at Easter Road. Probably should have beat them at New Douglas Park, but only got a point. We'll be looking to take the 3 on Tuesday. Yeah, well, it's a completely different game on the grass compared to the Astro at Hamilton. I think that was one of the first games of the season. I think the team definitely came a long way since then, so we'll be going there for the 3 points. And from your own point of view, back here at Easter Road, you seem to have settled in quite nicely, almost like you'd never been away.
Yeah, it does certainly feel like that. Obviously, a lot of familiar faces. I'm just delighted to be playing good football again with good players round about me, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
And the game against Hamilton, I think the guys will not need to be motivated for that one. Huge game, 3 points, puts us just a point behind Rangers if we can do it. Yeah,
we know what we need to do, and I'm sure the fans will be back out again on Tuesday. And I'd say we're going for the 3 points.
The results elsewhere, Aberdeen, Kilmarnock picking up convincing wins against sides in the bottom six. In the end, I suppose we can say we've picked up a comfortable enough win ourselves. Tuesday, Hamilton Accies coming to us. I still feel that Ross County, Partick Thistle are probably the two poorest sides I've seen against this season. Accies are that kind of enigmatic. We don't know what to expect from them, but Hibs should be looking to.
We should, but I think again, we thought that when they came here, second, third game of the season, where we'd beat Partick, beat Rangers, and then they annihilated us at home. Deservedly annihilated us at home because we marched the better side that day. But it's the same with coming into this game, and the same with going into the game at St Johnstone last week or 2 weeks ago. You'd expect Hibs to go and win. It won't be an easy game. Hamilton are right in the mix down there. I think we'll probably have the benefit now of having 90 minutes under our belt, having not played for 2 weeks or slightly over 2 weeks because we had the Friday night. In theory, it should be a routine win, but you can never you can't expect just to turn up and take all 3 points. And we've seen how dangerous Hamilton can be this season. We haven't beaten them this season yet. But
looking at the table, they're 5 points clear of Thistle in 11th place, and they have a game in hand over Thistle as well. So they'll be starting to, in the back of their minds, think that they'll be safe for another season. But I can't imagine Martin Cannon will allow them to think that.
No, I mean that'll be sort of the task for Martin Cannon now, is keeping them focused and keeping them moving away, because we talk about sort of the run up to the split, but it's easy to forget there's 5 games after the split. After those 5 games, everything could be completely different. Picking up that advantage now is always good, because it's always better to have points on the board than games in hand. But it's a point game for us as well, because Aberdeen play I think the same night or the Wednesday night against Motherwell. So from our point of view as well, it's a really good opportunity to go and take 3 points. Like I say, there's no easy games in this division, no matter what people might think. But we just have to go out and not be frustrated and be patient like we had to be today, and the result will come. Yeah,
and I think as well it's probably a good thing that we have Kelly snapping at our heels, because it keeps us on our toes in that kind of fight to remain in 4th as well. We can't rest on our laurels and assume that Celtic, Rangers and Aberdeen will win the Scottish Cup. But it's almost like there's a free hit for going for 2nd or 3rd, but Kelly are there to apply the pressure to ensure that no matter what we stay in 4th.
Yeah, and it's brilliant to be in the mix for that whole race. I mean, 2nd to 4th, 4 teams in that who could all finish in different positions come the end of the season, and you'd always rather be in that mix than outside it. I mean, at times it can be tense, and at times it can be frustrating, but it's better than sort of being 10 points behind in 6th. It's
from a player's point of view as well. It dictates how long this will sound bizarre, but it dictates how long your holiday is. If you finish 2nd, it's the 3rd qualifying round. If you finish 4th and Celtic win the Scottish Cup, you're back here and you're playing Europa League games at the end of June. So
the next day, just about, isn't it? But I mean, it's a great opportunity for this squad as well, because there's plenty of players in this squad who haven't sort of tasted European football yet, and there's plenty of players in this squad who have, and who know how it feels, and who I'm sure are absolutely desperate to play it again. And we're absolutely desperate to see European football back here. It's the position we should be in is challenging for Europe every year at the very least, if not at least making a decent go of qualifying every year. But it's the place we all want to see Hibs be in. So this is it's a real crucial part of the season now. I think we've got 7 games to go. There's 21 points available. I'm not saying by any means we're going to go and take all 21 points, but
cynic.
It's possible. We have to just go out there and do it.
So that'll do us for this week's episode. Subscribe now to Radio Hibs through SoundCloud or iTunes to ensure you never miss a show. Extended highlights from Saturday are now available, and indeed all this season's other matches, as well as a huge archive of other classic games, all on Hibs TV. Next up for us, it's Hamilton at Easter Road on Tuesday night. Tickets are now available online and from the ticket office, with the match being broadcast live on Hibs TV for international subscribers. Until then, my thanks to James Delaney as always for joining me. Thank you for listening, and join us next time for all the aftermath from Hamilton.